Some books should be tasted, some devoured, but only a few should be chewed and digested thoroughly. If a man will begin with certainties, he shall end in doubts, but if he will be content to begin with doubts, he shall end in certainties. Hope is a good breakfast, but it is a bad supper. A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds. Imagination was given to man to compensate him for what he is not, a sense of humor to console him for what he is. Wonder is the seed of knowledge. Man prefers to believe what he prefers to be true. Begin doing what you want to do now. We are not living in eternity. We have only this moment, sparkling like a star in our hand and melting like a snowflake. It is a sad fate for a man to die too well known to everybody else, and still unknown to himself. Reading mocketh a full man, and writing an exact man. And, therefore, if a man write little, he need have a present wit, and if he read little, he need have much cunning to seem to know which he doth not. Money is a great servant but a bad master. The job of the artist is always to deepen the mystery. In order for the light to shine so brightly, the darkness must be present. Age appears best in four things: old wood to burn, old wine to drink, old friends to trust, and old authors to read. Read not to contradict and confute, nor to believe and take for granted, but to weigh and consider. In taking revenge, a man is but even with his enemy, but in passing it over, he is superior. Ipsa scientia potestas est, knowledge itself is power. It is impossible to love and be wise. The general root of superstition, namely, that men observe when things hit, and not when they miss, and commit to memory the one, and forget and pass over the other. If we are to achieve things never before accomplished, we must employ methods never before attempted. Champagne for my real friends, real pain for my sham friends. The less people speak of their greatness, the more we think of it. Philosophy, when superficially studied, excites doubt. When thoroughly explored, it dispels it. God has, in fact, written 2 books, not just one. Of course, we are all familiar with the first book he wrote, namely Scripture. But he has written a second book called Creation. There is no comparison between that which is lost by not succeeding and that which is lost by not trying. Reading mocketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. The root of all superstition is that men observe when a thing hits, but not when it misses. The serpent, if it wants to become the dragon, must eat itself. Truth is so hard to tell, it sometimes needs fiction to make it plausible. The monuments of wit survive the monuments of power. They are ill discoverers that think there's no land when they can see nothing but sea. The worst solitude is to be destitute of true friendship. Great boldness is seldom without some absurdity. The only really interesting thing is what happens between 2 people in a room. Money is like manure, it's only good if you spread it around. Write down the thoughts of the moment. Those that come unsought for are commonly the most valuable. The remedy is worse than the disease. Silence is the virtue of fools. He that gives good advice builds with one hand. He that gives good counsel and example builds with both. But he that gives good admonition and bad example builds with one hand and pulls down with the other. By far the best proof is experience. He that will not apply new remedies must expect new evils, for time is the greatest innovator. A man that is young in years may be old in hours if he have lost no time. For a crowd is not company, and faces are but a gallery of pictures, and talk but a tinkling cymbal, where there is no love. Nature cannot be commanded except by being obeyed.